How do you feel after the back-to-back defeats? How does that speak of the character of your side?
Yeah, delighted. I think the manner in which we played today, particularly with the bat, was outstanding. It certainly resonates with everybody in the change room to the identity in which we wanted to play with in this tournament. It's come at a really good time, and against an extremely strong team. So we're delighted.
Tell us a bit about Johnny Bairstow. He's obviously had a funny week, but he comes out and does that. He's got a little bit of previous in this regard, hasn't he?
He does tend to get fired up a lot, and that suits him, regardless of what's happened during the week, or any week, or injuries or not. He likes a bit of fire in his belly, and I don't mind that when he comes out and plays like that and feels like the way he did. I think it's outstanding. It's definitely a match-winning knock, so we're delighted for him.
Oh, and how important was Liam Plunkett today, and did you feel that you'd missed him in a couple of previous matches?
I don't think we've necessarily missed him. I think we probably haven't bowled as well in previous games. I think the wicket today suited Liam. Not only that, he came in and bowled beautifully. I think it's one thing saying that yes, this wicket will suit you, but another to come out and deliver like he did. He's not played obviously recently, so to come off the bench and to maintain the form that he's in is an outstanding effort from a very experienced player.
What was the strategy against the spinners?
Well, to start, there never is one particular strategy to a bowling attack, just simply because on any given day anybody can have a bad day and we can't account for that, so we want to put them under as much pressure as possible. I think actually when the spinners bowled that period, we're talking about the Indian spinners, yeah, that period from 10 to 20 overs was probably the difference between the game. I think we scored about 90 something runs in 10 or 11 overs. And it was quite evident to see when the seamers were on, the ball was, not coming onto the bat, a little bit too pace, a little bit of purchase from cutters, slower balls. So, Johnny and Jason can make a wicket seem flat at different stages, and they did through that period. So it was a great period for us, and obviously got us off to an unbelievable start. So we felt that we were ahead of the game at that time.
We'll do Mel, Will, and then Chris and Dave on this side.
Rohit-Sharma was just in here and he spoke about the difference that Ben Stokes' innings made. Can you just talk a bit about how different that was, the role he played today, compared to some of the other innings he's had to play in this tournament?
Yeah, completely different. I think from the time I went in, so the sort of role changes throughout the game. The time I went in to him, to Joss, just trying to play in innings that will, potentially be at strike rate at 130, 140, that might get us up to that 320 type of score. But for Ben to do it and continue the form that he's been in and be so adaptable and just skillful towards the end was brilliant. The change room was bouncing when he was batting. It was great.
A word too for Chris Wokes, who bowled 3 maidens up top, which is sort of unheard of, isn't it? I mean, came back, got Sharma, and also took that outstanding catch. I mean, he's had a proper day out, hasn't he?
He has. And he's a guy, I mention this all the time when Wokesy does well, he's a guy that goes unnoticed a lot of the time, but is an extremely valuable player to us. Great assets, particularly in the first 10 overs. I know the pitches haven't been that rewarding this time, but he's been extremely disciplined today and rewarded well.
It's been a tough week, I guess, after those 2 defeats, but if someone had told you before the tournament you needed to win 3 games to win the World Cup, guessing you would have taken that.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly after a performance like today. If we'd have scraped through, lost the last 2 games, and they said obviously you have to turn things around, but you don't know how you're going to play. I think having played the way we did today is very encouraging for us.
Is that quite important psychologically, not just the win, but the manner of it?
Yeah, it is. It is. The closer we can get to playing our A game, obviously the more a chance I think we have of going the whole way. If we're scraping our way along, not playing the type of cricket we've played in the last 4 years, I wouldn't be as confident.
does today just further underline how important Jason is to this team, and how is he? Because obviously he didn't field.
Yeah, he's good. When he was batting, he got hit on the arm and had like quite a big bruise. It is just a bruise, and he should be fine. Obviously, having him back in the team is quite a big confidence booster for everybody, particularly when he plays like the way he did today. He's very intimidating, hard to bowl to, and he's a gun player.
And does he help Johnny as well? Because they obviously seem to thrive off each other.
I think they complement each other. I think today, throughout their partnership, it ebbed and flowed for quite some time. I think Johnny took a little bit more time to get himself in, but obviously capitalised on the start more so than Jason. But the two of them certainly looked to take the game to India.
Two more this lady here and then down at the front.
Full credit to the England bowlers for the way they executed their plans. But were you surprised that in the last 10 overs, India actually lost with 5 wickets still in their hands, and there was a lack of intent possibly in the last few overs?
I thought we bowled really well, and I don't think it was an easy wicket to whack sixes on. I don't know how many sixes were hit today, but it felt like it was down on probably a normal Edgbaston game where the wicket was normally quite good. So that's a good indicator, I think. Well, it felt like that. I don't know the numbers, but it just felt like that. I don't think it was easy to hit sixes on.
Last question here.
Captain, can you talk about the crowd? There were probably more Indians than they are at an average county game.
Average county game. I think there were more security than there were at What would you like me to say about that?
Would you like more Indians to support county cricket as well?
To support, absolutely. I want everybody to support county cricket. It's not easy to do. It's midweek majority of the time. The weekend, absolutely. If people can make it, something that they do with their family, it would be great. But yeah, I agree. I would love more people to watch county cricket.
Rohit, well played. Heading into an important stage of the World Cup, how destabilizing a factor is the uncertainty of a number 4? Or is it?
There's no uncertainty. I mean, I thought we made it very clear at the start that Vijay would play, but before the game he got a toe issue. He got hit on his toe by Jasprit in the net session, so he was not fully fit for this particular game. But again, every team will have 1 or 2 or 3 unsettled players. That is what it is. The tournament we have seen, there has been changes every now and then in each squad because it differs based on the opposition that the team play and the conditions as well. So there will be 1 or 2 changes happening every now and then.
Rohit, could you talk about, do you think the first 10 overs where India made 28 runs in the first power play, and then in the final 15 overs when they slowed down a little bit, especially the Mahi and Kedar partnership, which had a lot of singles, do you think those are the 2 phases where possibly things could have been different?
Yeah, I mean, see, when you lose game, there will be a lot of possibilities of why we lost the game. Losing an early wicket always puts you under pressure, and we lost KL right at the start, and they bowled pretty well in the first 10 overs. Good channels. So, it is important that the guy who is in form needs to bat as long as possible. That was between me and Virat. We wanted to make that partnership big. And we wanted, because we knew, the longer we bat, the easier, not rather easier, but the closer we'll get to the target. So that was the idea. We took our time, yes, but the condition was such that it didn't allow us to just come and bat and, put pressure on the bowlers. They bowled in the right channel, and, a lot of batting has been done by the top 3-4 guys. So we wanted to make sure the top 3-4 guys who are in form tries to bat as long as possible. And when Mahi and Kedar were batting, I think they were trying to hit, but they were not able to because of the slowness of the pitch. Towards the end, it got pretty slow. And yes, you got to give credit to English team, because they used the condition really well. They used the longer boundary really well. They mixed up their variation quite nicely and kept us guessing all through the game. So you got to give credit to them.
Rohit here. Rohit, about India's bowling, probably one bad day for the 2 spinners, but when they were being regularly reverse swept, and probably they were using the English batsmen were coming to the pitch of the delivery, how do you see what differently they did from other teams, the English batsmen?
It's always challenging for the bowler, especially for the spinner, if you don't have any wickets down. And we know their top order, they like to put pressure on the bowlers. And when Kuldeep and Chahal came to bowl, they already got off to a decent start. And they just didn't allow them to settle down. Which was, I think, a tactical move from their side against those our 2 spinners. But like you said, was just an off day for these 2 guys, but we have seen them bowl in tandem really well and put pressure on the batting unit, the opposition rather. So it's just one off day. Like I said, the England team, they played a complete cricket. They bowled really well, they batted really well. They got the result.
Rohit. Yeah, Rohit, congrats. And as you said, do you think there's a need for a 6th bowling option in this Indian team? Today, England had 6 bowling options and they didn't use Adil Rashid and Ben Stokes.
We have Kedar Yadav, yeah.
But he didn't bowl today. So is there a case of...
What can I say if he didn't bowl? Because of the condition, I guess, because there were 2 right-handers batting, for majority of the innings. They got off 160-70 odd run partnership. And when you have that kind of a start, it's not easy for the 6th bowler to come and bowl. We saw even their team, the sixth bowler didn't bowl many overs. Adil Rashid is their prime bowler, bowled only I think 6 overs, and Stokes bowled 4 overs. So it just depends on how the game is going at that particular moment. Because yes, of course, we need that option in the middle. We always have that option, but we thought today was not the day that we could use that option because our 5 bowlers who were bowling, they bowled pretty well. They created chances as well. But yeah, you got to give credit. They batted pretty well.
Rohit, 300s in one edition of a World Cup. Congratulations. I just wanted to know that for an opener in particular, what's the pressure which he feels when the target to be achieved is almost 350?
Yeah, of course, there is a lot of pressure because knowing that if the guy, I mean, especially if someone's batting well through the tournament and the team looks up to that particular individual to bat as many overs as possible because he is in such form, so my job as a batsman was to do the same because I've been batting well, so I wanted to bat as many overs as possible and make sure that we get closer to the target. But anything over 300 these days, we know that with the shorter boundaries, good pitches, it is achievable. It's just that you got to create partnership, big partnership. We did that today, one good partnership, but then when you're chasing 330, around 340, you need that X factor innings of someone coming and playing that 70 odd or 40 balls. And Hardik was looking good, but it couldn't just go on. Yeah, that is something that from their side, Ben Stokes did for them. Came and batted and changed the game. Actually, till then, we were right in the game. Restricted them pretty well. But yeah, we needed somebody like a Ben Stokes innings towards the end to get to that target.
Rohit, with 146 for 2, you on song, were you surprised to see Rishabh Pant emerging out of the pavilion because poor fellow had not even played one match and Hardik was obviously man in form?
Not really, because you all guys wanted Rishabh Pant to play, right? You all guys, right from India, you wanted where is Rishabh Pant? Where is Rishabh Pant? There he is at number 4. I think for someone like him also to come and play, he needs some time in the middle to spend and see what the pitch is doing, get used to the condition as quickly as possible. So I think it was a right move for him to come at that number because again we know what he can do with the bat. He just needs confidence because it's obviously playing his first game, expecting a lot is not right at the moment from him, but he should just come and play and enjoy his cricket. When he does that, he does well.
Rohit, if you look at the numbers over the last 6 years, you, Shikhar and Virat have scored 50% of all the runs scored by India in one-day cricket. Now, Shikhar is not in the team. It does probably affect the balance a lot, and it probably puts pressure on you to actually finish the job, you or Virat to actually play until the 45th over and maybe take the game to the end.
It is a duty actually. It's as long as I'm playing, I will not think that I have done this and I have to keep doing it. As long as I'm playing, it's the duty, it's the job. Because in cricket we say, forget what has happened in the past, focus on the present, and that is what I try and do. Try and stay in present as much as possible, not think about what has happened in the past. So yeah, every game for me is a new game, and I try and do the same. Try and see if I have an opportunity to finish the game, or bat as long as possible, get the team in good position, things like that. I've said that before as well. Yes, the majority of the runs have been scored by the top three, but that's why we are here, to score runs, and we'll keep doing that as long as we are playing.
Rohit, just taking a cue from what happened today with the DRS, how do you guys go about deciding on what parameters you consider, and if you are going to challenge your verdict when you're fielding?
I mean, it's a very tricky thing. You're not sure about. You're talking about today's Jason Royce. Yeah, I mean, see that some of the guys heard, some of the guys didn't. So the captain is under pressure, and it's not right to expect for him to make those decisions always right, because there are a lot of thoughts that comes around with certain players who are fielding inside the circle. Some of the guys feel that he nicked it, some of the guys didn't. So I mean, it's if you're lucky, you might get that decision going your way. Otherwise, we saw what happened, because you're never sure about if it's perfect or not, because sometimes even when the LBW decisions happen, the bowler gets very excited and he says, I want to take the DRS, but then he doesn't consider the fact that pitching in line, impact and things like that. So the captain is always under pressure because of that, because he got to make that decision, and he's not in the position to see whether it pitched in line or not. So it's pretty. If you're lucky, you take it. Otherwise, I don't not too much. We as a team don't want to look too much into it.
रोहित, मॅच आपण हरलो म्हणणं बरोबर आहे का ते जिंकलं म्हणणं बरोबर आहे? कारण प्रयत्न आपण केले, तू 100 केल्या, शमीनी 5 विकेट काढल्या, पण तू काय म्हणशील?
ते लोकांनी आय थिंक चांगलं क्रिकेट खेळले, ते लोक बेटर क्रिकेट खेळले देन अस, कारण की त्यांचे पार्टनरशिप झाले, एक नाही 3 पार्टनरशिप झाले. सो आमचा एकच मोठा पार्टनरशिप झाला. आमचा पण 2-3 70-80चा पार्टनरशिप व्हायला पाहिजे होतं, तर प्रॉब्ली आम्ही टार्गेटचं क्लोज आलो असतो. पण आय थिंक क्रेडिट द्यायला पाहिजे त्या लोकांना, कारण की त्या लोकांनी बॉलिंग पण चांगलं केलं. स्लोअर बॉल टाकून आम्हाला मोठ्या बाउंड्रीला मारायला सांगितलेलं, ते आम्ही करू नाही शकलं. तर आम्हाला एक सॉलिड लेसन आहे की असं नेक्स्ट वेळा झालं तर आम्ही कसं प्रिपेअर करायचं यासाठी.
चाहे जो भी हो जाए, कुछ भी मुश्किल आ जाए, डट के लड़ेंगे सदा. हम हैं ना डरने वाले, हम हैं ना झुकने वाले, संग अपने सबकी दुआ है उसका असर, हमारी कदर करे
Coach, on circumstances of this nature, where your team finds yourself out of the World Cup, how do you sort of motivate them to play a match for a game like tomorrow?
Yes, we out the World Cup, but there's still a lot of cricket to play after the World Cup. It's important for us to, find the winning ways and find the winning formula going forward. So it's important for us to play this game as hard as possible. If we want to create that winning culture, it has to start from somewhere. So, we're going to approach every game in a professional manner. The guys are still up for it. We're good to go. We had a long conversation in the dressing room, so we did a lot of soul searching. So it's important for us, it's important for the fans in the Caribbean as well, for us to put up good performances, even at the back end of the World Cup.
Coach, how big is the fight between Lasith Malinga and Chris Gayle going to be tomorrow?
Sorry?
The battle between Lasith Malinga and Chris Gayle, how big is it going to be tomorrow?
Well, these guys played against each other, for the last 10 years, 12 years, so they've had some good battles. So, the fans, we expect a good battle tomorrow between Malinga and Chris.
You said there's a lot of soul searching in that long meeting in the change room. What sort of things were discussed, I suppose? Where has it gone wrong for you guys in this tournament so far?
I think we didn't seize the key moments in games. You look back at our tournament, we played well against Pakistan. We had Australia on the ropes, New Zealand as well. I thought we just didn't seize the key moments in the game at crucial times. Maybe drop a few crucial chances as well. And then collectively, we didn't bat properly. So it's just small things that we didn't do, the 1%ers that we didn't do well. So these are things that we discuss as a team, players holding one another accountable, for their performances, responsibility, those sort of conversations that we had, in that team meeting. So going forward, I'm looking forward to see how the guys play in the next 2 games. We have a lot to play for. Like I said before, there's a lot of cricket to play after the World Cup. So it's important that we keep, building what we did well here as well in the World Cup, because we did some things well, but it's just the end result wasn't in our favour.
Depending on what happens today in Edgbaston, Sri Lanka could be out of contention for the semi-finals as well. Does that have any influence on your mindset going into the game at all?
No, our mindset, is to win. Obviously, there's a process to winning by playing. You have to bat, bowl, and field well. You have to, make sure you're on top of your game in all 3 departments. So, like I said, the first thing is playing a professional game. Playing the game with intent. It's important for us to win. Like I said, you got to start the winning ways. We got to create that winning culture, and it can start from here. Now, we had, some good games in the World Cup, but we just need to get the 1%ers right. Once we get the 1%ers right, then we'll get the results.
Despite the semi-final hopes fading away, the fact that you guys have had a couple of very close games, and the fact that this West Indies squad average age is only 27, you tend to think that the future of West Indies cricket is in safe hands?
The future of our cricket is good. We have a lot of young guys here. Hope, Pooran, Hetmar, O'Shane Thomas. We have young John Campbell. He was injured from Erling. So our future is good. I'm confident in these youngsters that going forward that we can bring West Indies cricket back to where it belongs at the top. Yes, it's unfortunate that we didn't get to the final 4 in this competition. But going forward, I'm happy from what I've seen. Shadman Cottrell had a very good World Cup. So we have a lot of young guys that we can mold and build a strong unit going forward.
Coach, just following on from that question, is there any one younger player you think who has stepped up in this tournament who you would identify as being a leader for the next generation of batsmen or bowlers particularly that you would want to see sort of do much better and be the leader for the next generation team once, say, guys like Gayle and are gone?
Well, yes, like I said, we have a group of guys, but for us it's to create leaders, and that's something that we got to focus on in the Caribbean as well. in our franchise, in our first-class cricket, to create more leaders amongst ourselves. But we have a good young group of players. Like I said before, Hetmer, Hope, Shannon Cottrell, Puran. Those guys are young players. We have young guys coming up as well, Kimmo Paul. So we have good talent in the Caribbean, and it's just to make sure that we nurture that talent very well. When we get back to the Caribbean, it's important that we put guys in an environment and put them in a tough situation where they have to train hard and prepare well.
Is there anyone in this World Cup you think anyone player who has stepped up and been that leader or shown signs of being that leader?
Well, yes, Young Hope, he's done well in the batting. Hetmer, he was the under-19 captain. In the bowling department, I like to the effort that Sheldon Cottrell put in. He's a soldier, a true soldier as well. But he put in a really, really good effort in the field. Not batting, but bowling. He bowled with energy. He really put 120% every time he bowled, and also in the fielding as well. So we have some players that we identified, as future leaders.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Batter up, let's get to it. It's time for the US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US ready for the US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open. We playing cricket, we playing cricket. Team of winners, team of winners, team of winners. Been hanging with winners since I was just a beginner. I'm hungry, feed me now, just bring it in gold. Big trophies, loud crowds, fans around the globe. I done lost before, but see that's what made me grow. Now I'm ready. Got a champion heart, I got a champion soul, and I came to win. For that I lose it all. US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US ready for the US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, we playing cricket. We playing cricket. I came in to win, so I'm here for the fight. Got my T20 drink and I'm feeling real hype. I didn't come this far just to catch the next flight. Batter up, first swing, 3 wickets, no strike. So I gotta win. All on the line, I gotta bid. They say hard work pay off, or something gotta give. Well, I know what I gotta give. My best, because this time I gotta win. Time for the US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US ready for the US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, US Open, we playing cricket, we playing cricket.
To be honest to yourself, you were made captain of this World Cup team, and if you say that all your boys are giving you 100% for this on this effort, what actually do you think that where it went wrong for you all?
I think the batting is the main collapse. If you take we couldn't get 100. We played like now 5 matches, so we couldn't get 100. So that's and couple of 50s, only couple of 50s in under our team name. So that's a major thing. If you want to compete with the good side, you definitely you got a good batting lineup, and you have to put runs on the board. So I think for in this World Cup, a major part is batting lineup.
Dimuth, you brought in Karunaratne in place of Nuwan Pradeep. But was there any sort of thought, now that the batting is struggling, to bring in a batsman as a replacement?
No, not at all, because I think if some fast bowler get injured, there's no fast bowler, so we want to take a fast bowler into the squad, and in case if someone get injured, I think we have enough batsmen. They have capabilities to score runs, but I think only thing is they want to mentally strong. So I feel they were in and out they were scoring, but as a unit we couldn't perform really well in these matches. I think everyone has to hands up and put their heads down and put some runs on the board if we really want to win the matches.
How closely are you watching the game in Edgbaston today, and how disappointing is it that your fate for your team isn't in your own hands at the moment?
I think we can't control the other games. You know, they were playing really well. Sometimes they were playing really well. Sometimes they couldn't. I think we had a good chance. Still, we have a chance. I think, but we have to win these 2 games and wait for the other what will happen for the other games. But only we can control the matches. We are going to play the 2 matches, so we are trying to give our best and try to win these 2 matches, and hopefully if we have a chance, we will definitely we can be in the top 4 teams.
More questions in English?
Dimuth දැන් කණ්ඩායමට අවසන් පූර්ව වටේට යෑමට නම් අනිත් කණ්ඩායම්වල මේ අනිත් තරඟවල රිසල්ට්ස් බලපානවා. ඉතින් කණ්ඩායම ඇතුලේ කිසියම් හෝ අවස්ථාවක ලොකු කුසලානින් එහාට වෙනස් වීම පිළිබඳව ඒ වගේ දේවල් කතා වෙලා තිබෙනවද දැන්ටම?
ලොකු කුසලානින් පස්සේ වෙන දේවල් ගැන තාම කතා කරලා නැහැ. අපි මොනවාක්වත් ඒ ගැන තාම විස්තර කරන්න. මොකද අපි මේක හොඳට ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ. අපිට තාම අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා සෙමි ෆයිනල් එන්න. හැබැයි කිව්වත් වගේ අනිත් ටීම්ස් වල වෙන දේවල් බලපාන. නමුත් අපිට කන්ට්‍රෝල් කරන්න පුළුවන් අපි කරන පර්ෆෝමන්ස් විතරයි. ඉතින් අපිට හොඳ අවස්ථාවක් තිබ්බා. සවුත් අප්‍රිකා තරගයේ ජයග්‍රහණය කළා. ඉතුරු තරග ජයග්‍රහණය කළා ලේසියෙන් වෙන්න. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ දැන් අපි ගොඩක් ටීම්ස් වල එක දේවල් වෙනකම් බලන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් එහෙම වෙන්න ඕන සයිඩ් එකක් නෙමෙයි. අපි මම හිතන්නේ අපි ඇත්තටම අපේ හොඳ ටැලන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. හැමෝටම ඒ ස්කිල් එක තියෙනවා. හැමෝමත් එක්ක කම්පීට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ අපි අර කිව්වාගේ ඉන් පැචස් තමයි අපි පර්ෆෝම් කරේ. බෝලින් යුනිට් එක හොඳටම පර්ෆෝම් කරා. බට් බැටිං ලයින් අප් එක අපිට හරියට අපි ඒ බැට්ස්මන්ලා ආයත් දෙන එකට හොඳ ස්කෝ එකක් දැම්මේ නැහැ. ඉතින් සමහරක් වෙලාවට টপ ඕඩර්ස්ලා දැම්ම, සමහරක් වෙලාවට මිඩ් ලෝඩ් එකකින් පර්ෆෝම් වුණා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ නැතුව අර උඩයි යටයි දෙකම හොඳට පර්ෆෝම් කරපු අවස්ථාවක් හම්බුන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒකයි අපිට මේ දැන් අනිත් ටීම්ස් කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියලා බලන්න වෙන්නේ. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ ඕවරෝල් ගත්තොත් එහෙම සයිඩ් එක හරියට පර්ෆෝම් කරා නම් ඔක්කොමල්ලා එකට එක මැච් එකේ හොඳට පර්ෆෝම් කරනවා. මම හිතන්නේ අපිට හොඳ chance එකක් තිබ්බා ලේසියෙන්ම සෙමි ෆයිනල්ස් යන්න.
කලින් තරඟයේ පසුව වැඩි දවසක් නැහැ. නමුත් සුරංග ලක්මාල් තරඟ 2ක් ක්‍රීඩා කළා කඩලක්වත් ලබාගෙන නැහැ. කසුන් රජිතට අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවද කෙලින්ම හෙට තරඟේ ක්‍රීඩා ගන්න?
සමහරක් වෙලාවට අවස්ථාවක් හම්බෙයි. මොකද අපි දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද සුරංග පන්දු යවුවා හොඳට. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ ඔහුට කඩලක් ලබා ගන්න බැරි. සමහරක් අවස්ථාවලදී එහෙම වෙනවා. ක්‍රීඩකයන්ට කොච්චර හොඳින් පන්දු යවුවත් ඔහුට කඩුලක් ලබා ගන්න බැරි. නමුත් අපි බැලුවොත් එම කසුන් රාජිතගේ ස්කිල් එකත් එක්ක අපිට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන් බටහිර ඉන්දියකෝද කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක කියලා බලලා අපි සමහරකට කසුන් රාජිතව කණ්ඩායමට එක් කරගන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා.
හෙට තරඟයේ සැලසුම් සහ මීට පෙර පැවති තරඟවලදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම පරාජයට හේතු මොනවද නායකයා විදිහට අඳුරගෙන තියෙන්නේ?
ඔව් අපි හැමෝම දන්නවා පරාජයට හේතු ගොඩක් වෙලාට අපේ බැටිල් ලයින් අපිට තාම බැරි වුණා ලකුණු 250 එහාට ලොකු ස්කෝර් එකක් දාගන්න. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ ඒක තමයි ගොඩාක්ම ලොකු බලපෑම. මොකද මේ වගේ තරගීරු වල හොඳ බැට්ස්මන්ලා දෙන්නෙක් සෙට් වුණොත් අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒගොල්ලෝ 250 කියන ටාගට් එක හොඳින් චේස් කරනවා. අර හැමතිස්සෙම වගේ කඩලු ගියොත් තමයි ඒක අමාරු වෙන්නේ. අපි බැලුවොත් එම හැම කණ්ඩායම වගේ එහෙම හොඳින් ක්‍රීඩා කරපු හැම අවස්ථාවකම ලකුණු 300 350 ගාලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි 220ක් 200ක් ගාලා අපිට අමාරුයි හැමතිස්සෙම බෝලර්ස්ලාට කියන්න අපිට මේක ඩිෆෙන්ඩ් කරලා දෙන්න කියලා. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ අපි බැටිං යුනිට් එකක් විදිහට මායි අනිත් හැමෝම රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි එක ගන්න ඕනේ. අපිට ලොකු ස්කෝර් එකක් දාන්න බැරි වෙච්ච ඉඳන් තමයි මේ තරඟාවලිය අපිට මේ තැන අපි ඉන්නේ කියලා. ඉතින් ඒක ඇත්තටම හැමෝම රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි ගන්න මම හිතන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි ලොකුම හේතුව. වෙස්ට් ඉන්ඩීස් තරඟේ ප්ලෑන්ස් කිව්වොත් එම අපි දන්නවා උන් ඉතා හොඳ කණ්ඩායමක්, හොඳ වේගෙන් පන්දුවල පාර දෙන කණ්ඩායමක්. ඉතින් අපි උන්ගේ වීඩියෝස් එකෙන් බලලා අපි ගොඩක් ප්ලෑන්ස් කරලා තියෙනවා කොහොමද කරන්න ඕන කියලා. ඉතින් අපිට ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද උන්ගේ පන්දු යවන්න කීප දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා හොඳ. උන්ට කොහොමද උන්ගේ පන්දුවරු කොහොමද හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේ, ඊට පස්සේ අපිට කොහොමද රන්ස් ගන්න පුළුවන් ඔප්ෂන්ස් මොනවද තියෙන කියලා ඒ දේවල් අපි වීඩියෝස් වලින් ඇනලයිස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි මේ විදිහට ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරලා කොහොම හරි හොඳ ලකුණු ටිකක් බෝඩ් එකේ දැම්මොත් මම හිතන අනිවාර්යෙන් අපේ පන්දු යවන්න ඩිෆෙන්ඩ් කරලා දෙයි කියලා එක.
මේ ක්‍රීඩා පිටිය පිළිබඳව සහ තනතිර පිළිබඳව අත්දැකීම් තියෙනවා අපිට කලින් තරගෙත් පැවතිච්ච නිසා. මොනවද මේ තරගයේදී සිද්ධ කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන වෙනස්කම් කණ්ඩායමේ?
කණ්ඩායම වෙනස්කම් නම් තාම මම හිතන්නේ මේ ලොකුවට දාම හිතුවේ නැහැ. මොකද මම හිතන්නේ මේ විකට් එක අපි දැන් බලන්න ඕන අලුත් විකට් එකක් අපි සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ ඒ තනතිල නෙමෙයි. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි පළවෙනි තරඟේ ක්‍රීඩා කරපු හින්දා අපිට පොඩි අයිඩියාවක් තියෙනවා මේ විදිහට වෙයි කියලා. නමුත් ඒ විදිහට වේද කියලා අපිට හරියටම ෂෝ කරන්න බෑ. නමුත් පොඩි අයිඩියාවක් තියෙනවා බලලා කොහොමද සංයුතය මොන 11ද ක්‍රීඩා කරන්න කියලා අද අපි ඩිසයිඩ් කරනවා.
දිමුත් මැද පෙළ ක්‍රීඩකයන්ගේ මන්දගාමී ලකුණු ලබා ගැනීම ගැන ලොකු විවේචනයක් තිබ්බ පසුගිය තරඟයේ වගේම කලින් තරඟවල මේ ගැන යමක් කතා බහට ලකුණු. මොකද පළවෙනි පන්දුවර 10 ලකුණු 6කට වැඩියෙන් අපි ලබා ගන්නවා. නමුත් පන්දුවර 10යි 40යි ලකුණු 4ක් වගේ දල වේගයක් තමයි රඳවාගෙන තිබෙන්නේ.
මම හිතන්නේ ඇත්තටම අපි බැලුවොත් මේ ස්ටැට්ස් අරගෙන අවිෂ්කයි කුසල හොඳ ස්ටාර්ට් එකක් කරන් දුන්නා. අපිට ඊට පස්සේ මොමන්ටම් එක ගෙනියන්න හම්බුන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අවිෂ්කයි කුසලුයි දෙන්නම එක ළඟ අවුට් වුණේ. ඉතින් ඊට පස්සේ එනේ පිටියට එන දෙන්නට පොඩ්ඩක් වෙලා යනවා. පොඩ්ඩක් රීබිල්ඩ් වෙන්න මම හිතන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ ඔවුන් මම හිතන්නේ ඩොප්ලිස් හොඳ කැප්ටන්සි එකක් අපි දැක්කා. වෙලේ ඔක්කොම ෆීල්ඩර්ස්ලා උඩට අරගෙන කියන්නේ ප්‍රෙෂර් ගොඩක් වෙලාට බිල් කරා ප්ලේයර්ස්ලාට ලොකු පාරවල් වලට යන්න. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ අපි අර කිව්වත් වගේ අපේ මිඩල් ඕඩර් එකේ ගොඩක් රන්ස් ගහන්න නැති ඉඳ ඒ කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් එක නැහැ හැමෝටම. මට වුණත් මම රන්ස් ගහලා ඉන්නේ නැති වෙලාවක මට චකිතයක් තියෙනවා මම මේ පාර ගහලා අවුට් වෙයිද කියලා. මොකද ඒක නෝමලි එන දෙයක්. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ එකක් වෙලා තව විකට් එකක් ගියොත් මේ තව ප්‍රෙෂර් වෙන හින්දා මම හිතන්නේ ගොඩක් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා බැලුවේ පොඩක් සෙටල් වෙලා හිමීට රන්ස් ගන්න. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ අපි බැලුවොත් එimhe සවුත් අප්‍රිකා කණ්ඩායම ඉතා දිගටම ඔවුන්ගේ ෆීල්ඩර්ස් රින් එකේ තියන් හිටියා සිංගල්ස් දෙන්නේ නැතුව. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි අපිට ප්‍රෙෂර් එක බිල්ඩ් උනේ ගොඩක්. ඊට පස්සේ අපි බල්ලා බැරි මෙතන තමයි මම හිතන්නේ අපි try කරපුවාම පාරම අපිට ඒ chance එක ගන්න හම්බුන්නේ නැහැ. විකට්ස් ගියා දිගටම. ඉතින් එතන තමයි අපිට පොඩ්ඩක් වැරදුනේ. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවල් එනවා. ඉතින් නමුත් අපි ක්‍රීඩකයෝ විදියට අපි ප්‍රොෆෙෂනල් ක්‍රීඩකයෝ විදියට අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවකදී මුහුණ දෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ ට්‍රැප් වලින් කොහොමද අපි එළියට යන්නේ කියලා හැමෝටම එකම විදියට කියන්න බෑ. නමුත් සමහර ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා ඒගොල්ලෝ දැනගන්න ඕනේ එක එකට එක විදි තියෙනවා කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලෝ එතනින් ගොඩ එන්නේ කියලා.